Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. We like to bring you the OGs on this show, and today's guest is certainly one of them. This guy's been doing jiu-jitsu for around 18 years. He's a black belt out of Red Cat in Geelong, and we're really looking forward to getting to know him a bit better. He is Tony Harvey. Thanks for joining us, Tony.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, Tony. We were just talking before we pressed the record button, and you came highly recommended from Craig Robinson. So how long have you been sort of in and around that jiu-jitsu scene? So 18 years. And so tell us about where you started and why jiu-jitsu, how you got into it.
Yeah. So years and years and years ago, I used to race BMX bikes when I was a little
We're
kid.
all similar ages, mate. It's not that long ago, surely.
Yeah, it feels like it. So I raced bikes as a kid, raced BMX bikes, and I played a lot of other sports, football, basketball, all that sort of stuff. But I was probably better at BMX, so I just sort of stuck with that. And then I sort of got to 30-ish, and I was sort of towards the end, and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go off and do something else. And then sort of started focusing on work and stuff like that. And a friend of mine was doing jits, and I just needed something else. Like, when you've been so competitive for so long and you sort of go cold turkey, it's like, all right, I got to find something else. And I had a friend of mine that I'd grown up with who was doing jiu-jitsu at the time, and he was a blue belt. And we'd have wrestle sessions in his in his garage. He had some mat setups, those ones. And yeah, he was hitting me with front chokes, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what the fuck? What's this? What's this shit? Like, what's he hitting me with? And I'm like, he have me up against the wall, and he's like Frank guillotining me and shit. I'm like, I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So anyway, I was like, I ended up doing some privates with him before I went to Red Cat. So then I turned up at Red Cat, and I'd already sort of done a couple of months of privates with him. So just sort of blazing through the white belts in Red Cat. It was good, but it was pretty cool. Like, I mean, obviously I've been in the gym, I sort of race semi-professionally, as professional as you can get in Australia as a BMX rider. And so I was good in the gym. I was pretty strong. I had basic technique. I had front chokes down by the time I got in there. So I was just ripping heads off. And it was funny. I bumped into Robbo. He was taking I think he was taking the intermediate class at the time. And I rolled with him a couple of times, and him, James Jelly, a couple other guys, Michael Johnson, Dave Moore. There was a few black belts, and they were doing a lunchtime session. And they're like, "Oh, you want to come along to this lunchtime session?" I was like, yeah, for sure. So I turned up, and I met Michael Johnson. I don't know if you guys know Michael Johnson.
No.
He's a black belt at John Wills. He was a black belt when I was a white belt. So there you go. That's how long he's been a black belt. And he didn't know me from a bar of soap, so we sort of slapped hands, and I just reached over and just head arm front choked him in about 3 seconds, and he's just gone, "Fuck was that?" I'm like, front choke? He's like, "Show me how you did that," and then that was it. He never let me tap him again. So the old just got him with the old surprise attack. So anyway, but that was fun. And then I was just in there training with Robbo. So I've sort of been training with those high level guys from the get-go, and obviously I know there's levels to this game, but we got a good crew down here, man. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I would say nearly 50, but I got a couple of years to go. And like Robbo's in his 50s, James, I think he's hit 60 now. So we're just sort of older guys rolling around now and just doing it more for the love of the sport. So so they're a good crew. It's a really good crew, and Red Cat's a great crew.
Yeah,
John's great. I think what brought me to it as well was just John's experience, but the way he teaches is great. He knows it backwards. Like, he's got so much detail and in his techniques. It's just, it's crazy. Like, he can explain it backwards, technically, and he breaks it down into chunks for you and makes it really simple. I think that was one of the things I struggled with initially was taking information and processing it. Like, it sounds simple. Like, hey, you're going to put your leg here, you're going to put your hand here, you're going to grab this. But until you've done it, it's like, well, hang on, what? So my left arm, like, you're trying to figure it out. It's such a learning curve when you start jiu-jitsu.
So you've been with John Will at Red Cat, and then you're also part of, I think you guys call yourself the Misfits down there on a Monday night. Can you tell us a bit about the Misfits?
Yeah. So Firm Foundation, Grady and Emily, they're great. They're just lovely people. they've got a non-for-profit club in sort of the other side of Geelong, and it's affiliated with Machado. So Grady used to train at John's, and it's through their church group or something like that. And yeah, they're affiliate of Machado, Will Machado, I think it is. So yeah, and they're just lovely people. So Monday nights we just go to their place. They've got a setup out the back at their house, and yeah, it's pretty much it's probably just 10 black belts out there just trying not to kill each other. And then, you know, we have a barbie afterwards and we all sit around and talk shit and have a beer, and it's good, man. It's just, I call it strangle therapy, or, you know, it's just dudes to get together, just talking shit to each other. It's good. It's really good.
Those early days out there with Red Cat and with those crew, how did you find it? So obviously coming from a semi-pro, I mean, riding BMX is obviously quite taxing on the body. You need a lot of strength and explosive stuff and those sorts of things. It's not an easy sport to sort of be doing, especially at the level that you're at, Tony. So how did you find, number one, the fitness? Because I know that people come into jiu-jitsu who are actually quite fit, but jiu-jitsu fitness and fitness can be very different, right? So how did you find the fitness level coming in? And then was it a really good match for you, just rolling on the mat to get that competitive edge going for you?
Yeah, and like you said, jiu-jitsu fitness is so different to any other fitness. It's really hard to replicate it. And then I had that, you know, that strongman game at the start where you're just hanging on to shit for grim death, like, it's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? So you're blowing yourself out. So guys would figure it out, like especially the higher level guys. They figure me out in 5 minutes. They go, all right, I've just got to grim and bear the first 2 minutes, and then he's out of gas, and then I'll choke the shit out of him. So yeah, it takes time, but then obviously you figure it out. Like, you actually start doing jiu-jitsu instead of just trying to rip people's heads off. So yeah, always been a slow learner. So it took me 15 years to figure that out. So, but yeah, no, it's completely different. And yeah, going backwards and forwards is completely different. Like, I even noticed the difference between gi and no gi is just bonkers. Like, we still do no gi on weekends. Like, we're back in gi now. So I don't know if you guys do that, but at Red Cap, we sort of switch. We go to gi throughout winter and the colder months, and then closer to summer, we'll switch over to no gi. So we do about 3 or 4 months at no gi, and then we'll do the rest of the year in gi. And it's really good. I really like. I mean, I love gi. I'm a baseball bat kind of guy. A lot of chokes, and yeah, I like chokes, and I like cross grip sweeps. So as soon as gi comes back, I just like, and so, you know, then you're doing this every night because your fingers are wrecked from just gi all day. But then no gi is great. Like, I feel like no gi really complements a lot of stuff, especially when you got a lot of head arms, katakatami, dasses, Russian. You know, there's all sorts of shit that complements each other. So I love going backwards and forwards. Like I said, we're doing both at the moment. A friend of mine's got a good setup at his place. There's a little bit of it's this kill room he's got set up at his house on Sundays, and there's me and my friend that I started with, who was teaching me privates, in his garage. So it's me and him still rolling together.
Oh wow!
20 years later, so it's really good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I did a little bit of homework about you, and I was told that John Will had said when you were a blue belt with a black belt guillotine.
Yeah.
So do you think that comes through from what you were saying, that you had those early lessons, and it sounds very much like your game is very much around those front headlocks?
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was the thing. That's what I hit Michael with, you know, when that first day. So that was my claim to fame for a little while. But then he managed to get me back about tenfold. So, but Michael's still great. Michael still rolls now. So, like, we had some good rolls on Monday night. And I mean, it's his birthday today, I think. Or yeah, so happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I've got a theory that I don't know. Well, it's certainly true for me. I don't know if it's true for other people, but the first kind of few submissions that you learn are your kind of go-to submissions, and you build your game around those. I mean, let's face it, there's hundreds of submissions in jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
But for me, there's certain ones that just I never really hit, but I still have a certain couple of subs that are my go-to. And I feel like they're the ones that I learnt first, and I kind of built my game around that. Would you agree with that, Tony?
Yeah, for sure. And then, like, it's all variations of that too, yeah? Because then once people, you roll with the similar people all the time or the same people all the time, and they start figuring out your shit. So now I was like, all right, now I've got to create a variation of that. So, like, I had a big thing with baseball bat chokes, and then people started figuring out how to defend it. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I started doing, like, a blindside setup where I'd set it up from, like, north-south, and then I come back around and my already got my inside hand in. So then that was easy to set up. And then I started doing the rollover baseball bat. So they think they're coming up on top, but I've got baseball bat from the bottom then. Yeah. So, you start creating all these different variations of it just because you like doing the one
Yeah. Yeah.
15 variations of it now. So, and that's what I said I love about gi. I've got a couple of mates go, oh, you like gi? I go, mate, I've just got 50 new chokes. So, I've been doing no gi with, head arm chokes, and now I've got gi to strangle you with now. So
much more options in the gi.
Yeah, you have your little favourites, hey, that just sort of you're in forever.
For sure.
Those early days for you, Tony, were you competing at all? Did you ever go down the competition path in jiu-jitsu at all?
Yeah. So I did. It's really weird, isn't it? How people are like, oh, you got to compete, like, but then you don't know what you don't know, and then I guess obviously the people you compete against don't know either. So initially, I did the pan packs as a white belt. One pan packs as a white belt. I won with a head arm triangle in his half guard. So I was on top in half guard, grabbed his head, and just fucking squeezed his head until he tapped.
That would have been about the early 2000s, eh?
Yeah. Something like that. It was at Melbourne Sports Aquatic.
Yeah.
And how funny is this? So I'll digress a little bit, but this is sort of a little bit off tangent.
No, go for it.
Years ago, I was working for an equipment company, and I went and saw Simon out at Absolute. Simon
Carson.
Yes, Simon Carson, right?
Yeah.
And I was chatting to him. I said, oh, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu down in Geelong and blah, blah, blah. And he's looked at me. And he goes, I've competed against you. I go, what? He goes, yeah, pan packs as white belts. I go, what the fuck? He goes, and then he goes, HRV fitness. You used to ride motorbikes or something. Bike. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's just remembered all this stuff, like random stuff. And he goes, oh, I just remember reading your name on the sheet, and it had HRV fitness on it. That was so. I had a gym when I finished racing bikes. I opened a gym for 10 years, and it's called HRV Fitness Day. And he remembered my name, the gym name, and that I rode bikes.
Wow,
that's a jiu-jitsu connections. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's what it is.
But lovely, such a nice guy.
Yeah,
bumped into a few times and stuff like that.
Is that the guy you strangled from half guard?
No.
I was going to say, because I remember that person for sure.
I got terrible memory.
Yeah, fuck, I remember you, bro.
Yeah. And that's what he said. He goes, I didn't even compete against you. I just remembered reading your name and so bonkers. But so I did pan packs. I think I did state titles and got smoked on third or fourth. Did some nationals. And then just most of the time it was just Machado's, the gathering.
The
gathering. Yeah.
So I competed at that till I was about purple belt, and then COVID kicked in.
Yeah.
So I think I had my brown belt, and then I haven't competed since. So I've been a bit slack.
Yeah.
This year's the year.
Maybe we'll see you at the gathering this year, hey?
Yeah. I know. I'm talking about it. I'm just trying to get excited about it. You know what's funny? And I had this conversation with someone the other week about I competed so long, and it's exactly the same, right? The same feeling when you compete is the same feeling you get when you race BMX. Like, it's the same feeling. It's like, I remember when I obviously retired from BMX, and then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I lined up and I slapped hands. I'm like, it's the same feeling. It's the same feeling. It's that nerve, that fight or flight, that adrenaline rush, whatever it is. It's exactly the same. And I got to a point where I was just like, fuck, I'm just tired, man. You're in just such a different mindset when you're in competition mode. You're in that fight or flight mode all the time, and you're like, you're hungry, you're competing, you're training, you're putting all this work in. It's just, fuck, it's so taxing. It's so hard to compete. Like, at the end of the day, the people always go have fun. I'm like, fuck having fun. I'm there to win, mate. I'm not there to stand up and have fun and get fucking choked by some fucking noob. So if I'm going to compete, I'm going to have a decent crack, and I'll make sure I'm in shape, and I'll make sure that, I'm going to be competitive. Last thing I want to do is turn up and get fucking. I did that once. James dragged me along to a bloody sub only comp at Dominance. He goes, "Oh, you want to come do this sub only comp?" And we'd been doing gi, and it was a no gi comp. And he goes, "Oh, sub only." I go, "Oh, yeah, all right." And I'd been wearing gi for 12 months because it was COVID, and I think we missed our no gi section, so it was just gi. And yeah, first roll, I got fucking tapped in 40 seconds by a heel hook. I'm like, the fuck am I doing here? And then like I got tapped again, and the next one I go, this is fucking stupid. What am I doing here? Like, so I vouched never to do that again. Never turn up to a comp underdone. So
Yeah.
Good
Look,
lesson.
I reckon like competing is good. It helps you focus and it definitely gives you more purpose to your training and stuff than
sure.
maybe just drifting along. But I also think sometimes it can be to your detriment if you're just competing all the time because you're just always working your A game and you never have the opportunity to kind of go, oh, I'll just try and practice all this stuff I'm really shit at, because at the back of your mind, you're kind of always thinking, oh, but I've got this comp coming up in 2 months or 3 months or whatever. So I don't want to spend too long on that. So I don't know. To me, I kind of think it's good to have a bit of a balance
for sure.
between competing and not. But I wanted to ask you, Tony, you mentioned about the changeover when you left BMX racing to go to jiu-jitsu. Was there a period where you were trying to do both?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and that's part of the reason it took so bloody long to do to get my black belt, I suppose. I was blue belt for about 8 years, so I got my blue belt, and it was interesting back then because John didn't have stripes. It was just like you turned up, and then John decided when you were ready to get your next rank. So
yeah, I came from Peter to Bean. It was the same.
yeah,
We didn't even stripe at white belt. Like
yeah,
never. I never got a stripe. Yeah, on all my
wow.
belts. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it wasn't until I came back, I sort of had a break for a few years, and partly because I took over as the state coach. I was coaching the Victorian state team for BMX and all that sort of stuff, and I had my gym, and you know, I was just it was it 24? Anyway, it was just a lot of time, and I was putting all my effort into that. So yeah, and then once all that sort of died away, and I had time again to myself, I said, I want to get back in there and then I fell in love with it again. You know. So
I know a few years have passed since you were professionally racing. I'll call it professionally, right? So you're a racing BMX mate. Who cares?
Why not?
Fact check it. I don't care.
No, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. So can we talk about your weight, like power to weight ratio, strength? So what were you walking around at when you were sort of racing at your prime, and then what are you sort of at now? Is there much difference? Like, did you have to stay lean, or how did that sort of work?
It's a power to weight sport, right? So I still help a few riders out just with some coaching and stuff like that. So it's power to weight. So, and it's that age old story is if I wish I knew what I knew now, if I knew back then. But I was probably about 89 kilos. I was relatively lean. I was probably, 10% maybe body fat. I could have been leaner. That was more to the point. And tried to avoid upper body so much because that's sort of, packs on weight. Because at the end of the day, it's like you got to get it moving, because it's a 40-second race, and you pretty much got to be at top speed by the bottom of the hill. So it's all about acceleration. So the heavier you are, you got to get it moving. And that was part of the issue I had because I did retire and went off and did powerlifting as well. That was the other thing I did. I did powerlifting, which was part of the reason I didn't go back to jiu-jitsu. So then I was lifting stupid weights and thought, I'll start racing bikes again. And I came back at 100 kilos. And it was just a little bit harder to get, I was probably half a second slower down the hill because I couldn't accelerate. But then, so I'm still sort of floating around 100 at the moment. So I'm probably about 10 kilos heavier.
What would the, as a Olympic, because it's BMX is now an Olympic sport too, right?
Yeah.
What would those men be weighing at the Olympic level?
A lot of them are little guys, like they're sort of in their 70s, maybe high 70s.
That's what I was thinking, Tony. Yeah.
Strong. But then tall dudes, like tall guys are good too. Some tall guys who might be like, sitting around 80, 90 kilos. They got a little bit more leverage, right? So they can get over smaller jumps. Like there's so many different body shapes. There's got the little nuggety guys, which, I was more one of the little nuggety guys. And then you had real tall guys who could create good leverage, good torque. And it's such a weird sport, but the age old. I wish I knew what I knew now. I need that time machine. Uncle
Has it? I mean, jiu-jitsu's definitely exploded. I mean, since you and I started, has it done the same BMX racing? How's that changed in your time here
Weird.
in Australia
Yeah,
anyway?
it's weird. It's like I think everyone thought the Olympics was going to be this massive influx into the sport. It's going to change. But, like Saya just won the Olympics, Saya Sakabara from Sydney. I don't think anything's changed. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of kids coming up in the sport think that the Olympics is going to be their savior. Like, I'm going to go to the Olympics, rah, rah, rah. But at the end of the day, like, okay, well, I think the Australian government, if you win a medal, the Australian government gives you 20 grand or something, 30 grand. It's cost you bloody 150 to get there, mind you.
Yeah.
You go to all the
We've heard this from other guests.
yeah, like all the qualifying rounds and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's so expensive. But it's worse now. Like, I used to make a decent living racing back then. Like, I didn't really work till I was 20 something, just because mum kept badgering me. You're gonna get a job. I'm like, well, I'm doing all right. I don't need a job. But ended up just working part-time retail. But it was you can make decent money. Like, I went to races in Gove, bloody Gladstone. I've been all around the world racing, so it's you go to those cool mining towns and they'll put up 10 grand for the weekend. It's like,
Right.
all right, and then they'll fly you over as well, and they'll put you up for the weekend. And
Wow.
really cool back in the day. You're a bit of a rock star sometimes, but it's just not like that anymore now. Like, I go to races now sometimes just to see the guys I'm helping out, and the guys are racing for fucking $200 or something, like, just getting their entry money back half the time. It's just a joke. So I don't know. Like I said, I think everyone thought the Olympics was going to be the saving grace, but it just hasn't done what it's promised.
So jiu-jitsu's had like a really good explosion in regards to the availability of jiu-jitsu and how you can get into it. There's definitely money in jiu-jitsu for the very elite people.
Yeah.
How do you fix the BMX stuff then? Like, are there correlations that you can see from people that have done jiu-jitsu or doing jiu-jitsu at a really high level? Can you take those into BMX or?
Yeah, it depends. Like, so a long story, but I had a kid that I sort of used to coach, and he was decent in Victoria, and he still races now. But his whole thing is he just coaches full time. So he goes to different tracks, probably 3 or 4 nights a week in Melbourne, and he'll coach, and he'll probably, he's probably making $2,000 a week, just coaching. So he's like nearly 30, I think, now. So look, there is money there. You probably can make a living out of it, and then other people have gone down the import route where they're bringing products and selling that as well.
Yeah.
Then there's older riders who have moved on into, so BMX has been taken over now by Cycling Australia or AusCycle. So it's no longer, it used to be BMX Victoria, BMX Australia, but now it's all under the one umbrella. All the cycling disciplines are under the one umbrella now. So, like a guy I grew up racing with, Luke Medill, he works for Cycling Australia now as the national coach, and he's just started jiu-jitsu. How funny is that? So he sent me a photo the other day. He's got 2 stripes on his white belt now. He's like,
awesome.
So it's pretty funny. So he lives in Sydney. He was coming down for a race. And Mum said, come down. We'll have a roll. But I think he forgot his gi somehow.
I actually put a post up the other day, Tony, and it was basically saying, what other sports or who from other sports could you see coming into jiu-jitsu and doing well? I think cyclists could definitely do jiu-jitsu really well. I mean, Liv was a cyclist, right? Like elite cyclist. So I think cycling and jiu-jitsu kind of have a pretty good balance between each other.
Yeah, I think it's just the competitiveness. I feel like if you're a competitive athlete, I feel like, and you got a touch of autism, you'd probably be all right at jiu-jitsu. So that always helps. So we get hit in the head a lot, a couple of crashes, and so I think that's part of it, isn't it? But it's. I think it's more just if you come into the sport with a little bit of athleticism, I think it can take you a long way. But then, like, there's a guy at John's club who's this guy Wade. He's a black belt. I think he's at first down, but he's amazing, and he's just this, just a normal looking skinny kid.
Good guy.
He's like, he just looks like a normal dude. fuck, dude, I've tried and pass his guard. I spent 40 minutes trying to pass his legs, and then I get past, and then he's like so limbo, is that this leg just comes in back here, and then I'm back in his guard again. What the fuck happened? How did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
But
So
that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Yeah, like it's that. I personally, I mean, I like to think of it as a bit of a secret superpower. It's nice to know, especially as a smaller female, to walk around to think that that I could cause some damage to people that they don't need to know about it. Like I don't need to promote the fact that I'm a black belt or whatever. So it's a nice little sort of secret that I have in my back pocket. Do you have any injuries that you got through jiu-jitsu that you can tell us about, Tony?
To be honest, I've been pretty good. I did my a meniscus once. Hagen was in class, right? I think Hagen was taking class, and literally I'm in the corner with a friend of mine, and Hagen's standing there and John's standing there. I was like, oh, what's this fancy? And I threw a lasso catapult sweep, and I landed the knee ride, but I still had the arm through my leg, and then I'm like trying to baseball bat him, and I've lost balance and I've fallen back. And my knee's gone pop. I'm like, and so yeah, I tore my meniscus or some shit, and I was just sitting there like a fucking idiot. And Higgins like, oh, sorry about your leg, my friend.
It's a classic.
But that's to be honest, that's pretty much. I've done a couple of ribs, done some like stupid rolls. I can't remember. I was rolling with a friend one day and sort of rolled backwards and I felt my rib like pop. I'm like, oh, so a couple of those. Intercostals every now and then, but that was all the coming up stuff when you're trying to kill each other, and as you relax a little bit, injuries tend to come less frequently.
Hey, can I tell a really quick Higgins story?
Yeah, of course.
So it was probably the second time I think it was that I went to the gathering, and obviously Higgin Machado has come over for it, and I'll go over and grab a photo with him, and just having a chat with him, and I'm like, hey. I think it was on a Saturday, I think. And I said, I'm flying to the US tomorrow. He said, where are you going? I said, LA. He goes, are you training? I said, well, I think so. Like, I'm going with my wife, but I'd really like to go and train. He's like, go to my gym. Like, it'll be awesome. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So I got the details. So I go to his gym on the Monday morning. Like, we land Sunday, go to the gym Monday morning. And I'm there like early. I'm like, I'll get there early, make sure I'm not late. So I'm probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes early, and then there's nobody around. Class starts at 11.
Yep.
And at like 3 minutes to 11, this guy rocks up. And I'm like, hi mate, I'm Brent. I've just come over from Australia. I was just talking to Hagen on Saturday. We're at this competition. And he said, make sure you come down to the gym. And he's like, he goes, mate, that's so amazing. Like, welcome. Like, come on in. Do you want to teach today? I'm like, I'm a 2-stripe white belt, mate. Let's not. But they were so welcoming and so friendly, like literally just like Hagen. Like, come in. Like,
come in, my friend. Come in, my friend.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah.
How was it? So you get a few of those sort of guys coming over to Red Cat and been on the mat. I've got a couple of quick questions for you in regards to that. Number one, have you ever rolled with John Will?
Yes.
And does he still roll? He doesn't roll now, does he?
Not now. He's a little bit battered.
Yeah.
I haven't rolled with him for probably 7 or 8 years.
He's great shape.
I'm rolled with him twice or 3 times. I've only rolled with him 3 times.
Yeah.
He used to roll a lot more often, but he's got a bung hip at the moment. And he's had some some body issues. He's getting old, mate. He's done some miles. But it's cool. Like, I remember rolling with him, and he had some funky shit. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. Like, oh. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But we've had some cool people come past. I'm just scrolling through my phone because I've got a photo with Mendez. What's his name? Mendez, the UFC fighter.
Rafa Mendes?
No, UFC fighter.
Oh.
Gilbert Mendez. Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert. Is it Gilbert
Burns?
No.
Gilbert Mendez.
Gilbert.
Big unit.
I don't know who that is. Sorry.
Oh, it's that's fucking terrible that we don't know that.
All
guy.
the UFC guys would be like, "What the hell, guys? Come on!"
I feel so bad.
Yeah, you get people coming through for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And I wondered about that with John. Like, John definitely doesn't need to prove anything to anybody, He's definitely done his time on the mat. And I mean, I've been to probably, I think maybe 3 seminars that John has done, and just watching him demonstrate the move and then the way he moves through the positions as he's demonstrating stuff. Like, he's such a fluent mover as well, you know? So
Yeah.
he can definitely teach, but, you know, the man definitely knows how to move his body and put it in certain spots too.
Gilbert Melendez, his name is.
Gilbert Melendez.
Yeah, he was a UFC fighter, and then he got into commentary. So he was commentating the
Oh,
South Australian UFC. Was it South Australia, Adelaide? Was UFC in Adelaide one time?
not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Gilbert,
he came
if you're
over and
listening,
he was
mate, we
commentating. So
apologise.
Yeah.
John does a bit of online stuff with him. So
Okay.
he stopped past and lovely. I grabbed him straight away for a roll. John just grabbed me and just goes, "Go easy on him." I go, "Oh, okay, all right, nice." He tends to say that to me a lot. Go easy on him. Go easy on him.
It's funny you say that, actually, because like I said, I did a little bit of homework on you, and this person said that with your Monday night sessions, on the nights that you don't show up, everyone jokes that it's going to be an easy session because you're not there. So would you say that there's truth to that, or not really?
Nah, it's all. Everyone's good in there. I try not to kill everyone. That's the problem. I don't want to, because everyone's a bit older too, you know. So the lower ranks, it's fine because they're all a bit younger. We can beat them up. But all the older guys in there, it's, you know, everyone knows where we're at. So we just sort of go in there and try and land some shit. I just need James to work a bit harder. He just likes laying on his back. G him up when he watches this, like. So, he's good, man. He's still in there, man. He's 60 years old. He's still having a
Yeah.
crack. It's funny. He comes out on Sundays and trains at my friend's place, and we get probably, I think we get like 8 black belts. There's a purple belt and a brown belt.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's just good. It's good rolls. And James comes out. He's always got something. James has got like a little sneaky trick or how to counter something, and you know he's been around the block as well. So
Yeah.
it's good fun. Good
Yeah.
fun.
What keeps you going with jiu-jitsu?
You know what's funny? It's you know, like obviously as you're coming up to get your black belt, it's all about gotta get the belt, gotta get the belt, gotta get the belt. And then you get the belt and you're like, oh shit, now what? And then you either, there's sort of 2 ways you go, right? You either go, I've got that, ticked it off, that's it, that's the end of jiu-jitsu. Or it's like, oh, okay, so now it's time to get better at jiu-jitsu. You know, John was like, he's mentioned it once, and it was like, once you get your black belt, you go back to the start and start again. And now you work on refining all those, you know, the armbar. All right, well, this is how you do a black belt armbar. This is how you do a black belt front choke. This is how you do a, you know. So it's all about going back now and refining all those techniques and getting better at it, where you know stuff's on before it's on. You know, if that makes sense. Like I know my baseball bat choke from the bottom, for example. So if I've got my hands touching, I know as soon as he passes, he's fucking done. So, you know, those little subtle things that you pick up as you've done 1,000 of them. So, but I think that's what keeps going now, is just to get better at the sport. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said it before that for me, when I got my black belt, I felt like I realised how little I knew. I guess you're supposed to, as a black belt, be this, you know, professor of knowledge of all things jiu-jitsu, but I actually felt the opposite. I felt like then I realised how little, in fact, I knew about everything.
It's
So
it's well, that's, you know, and that's why you get so many people that don't want to get their black belt. Have you heard of that? Like people when they're brown belts, they're like, I don't want a black belt. I don't want a black belt. They feel like this massive weight.
Yeah, like a target on your back sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah.
They just don't deserve it, or you know, in the back of their mind, they're like, oh, I'm just not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. It's just like, mate.
Yeah. Tell us about the day you got your black belt.
You know, it was cool. John actually rang my partner and told her about it. She's, Tony's getting his black belt tonight. You should come in. And it's pretty cool. I get a bit emotional about it because it's funny because you know, it sounds so stupid, right? Because like, it's just a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter. But like, you know, it's every night you get home from work, you know, you sit down for an hour, you have something to eat, and then you got to get up and you got to head in, you know, whether it's cold, wet, rainy, whatever, you got to go in there and just got to do the time to get your belt. So it's a lot of commitment. It's such a massive commitment. And like I said, it took me 17 years to get it. And it wasn't so much the belt. I just knew how much work was behind it and how many times I sort of had to kick myself in the ass. Like, just fucking get up and go. Stop being a pussy. You know, or, you know, those times when you pull up and you're sitting in your car and you're like, I can't be fucked doing this tonight, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? it's all those nights where you've just dragged your ass there, even though you didn't want to go. But at the end of class, you always feel better for it, don't you? I've never done a jiu-jitsu class and gone, fuck, I wish I didn't come tonight. So, yeah, it was really cool. And then
Kim says that a lot.
John rang my partner, and she was sort of there filming. And then I did my little speech and got all fucking teary. But I think that's part of getting older too, yeah? As you get older, guys get a little more teary and shit.
Yeah.
I'm watching Rocky 3 and crying during the montage and stuff like that.
I think so. So on that day, how did your black belt, like how did it look? Was there is there like you're in the hole, or is there like a grading process, or after 17 years, like, Tony, you've put the time in, mate, just like come out here and I'm going to put this around your waist?
So we do a grading. We do 3 gradings a year, 3 or 4, I think 3. So we do one when Hagen comes out, and then we do one sort of. We just did one. Oh, actually, we just did one recently. So what was that? May. So May. Yeah, I don't know. We do 3, so I can't figure it. But we only do 3 a year, and then so the way we do it is, it's a bit of a round robin thing. So everyone turns up on the night. So we've got 50,000 people on the mat. You can't move. So we do 5 minutes of takedowns, and then we do. I won't give away John's secrets too much, but we do takedowns. We do pass or sweep. We do free roll, and then we just do that for like circuits, and then so it's just, and then John just sort of works around and just has a look at what you're doing. You know, checks out your sweep game, checks out your takedowns, he checks out how you're free rolling, and you know, there's a lot of things to it too. You know, like how you manage your space. You know, you're going stupid, you're going too crazy in a crowded environment. Like it takes a lot into consideration, I think, and you know, it's hard when you're grading 40 people to grade 40 people, you know. So this is a good way that he does it, and just gives him an opportunity to go around and sort of see what everyone's doing. So
it's like a celebration, I suppose, isn't it? However clubs essentially, you know, perform their gradings, that's really what it should be about. I reckon. Yeah. We are nearly out of time, Tony. Brent likes to do a little bit of a pop quiz at the end for our guests to just answer some very quick questions, if you can. How about those questions, Brentos?
All right, we'll see how we go, Tony. You ready?
All right, go.
Let's do this. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Oh, there you go. Strength or flexibility?
Personally, strength. My flexibility.
From the strong man.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take strength any day.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
Gi or no gi?
I like gi. Gi.
Yeah. Mate, those chokes sound pretty devastating in the gi. Who to you is a jiu-jitsu goat?
It's so hard, right? Because it's constantly evolving. You know, like John talks about Hagen's game back in the day, and then it's like, but you know, it was such a different sport back then. It wasn't so accessible for people. You know, you didn't have 50 instructionals on YouTube for free. So it's just such a different game. You know, it's like, you know, the same thing with we have the similar conversation with BMX, like who was the best BMX player, but tracks are so different now. You know, like back in the day when I started as a kid, there was 2 jumps on each straight, and now there's no pedaling on any straights. It's like jump, 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 jump. So it just constantly evolves. So it's I don't know. Look, it's, you know, it's hard. It's hard to pick because like I said, it's constantly evolving, and it's
I like it. I think that's pretty fair too. What was your favorite belt that you were at?
a blue one apparently, because I had it for fucking 8 years. I think purple I learned the most. Like I feel like I evolved a little bit more. Like I had this epiphany one day. I'm just going to grab some sleeves and see what happens. Like fucking how easy is that? Now I can just control people. Where before I just kept getting me shit passed all the time because I'd lay on me back going. Anyway, it's funny when you have those little things like so stupid. Anyway, stuff that's so simple and you just go, oh, like the penny drops. So but I think my purple belt was probably the best one in the sense that you start trying to figure out your game a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of becoming a little bit more comfortable in your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think you evolve the most at purple.
Mm.
It's interesting that you initially said the blue, because so many people seem to quit at blue belt, but then you stuck with it for so long, despite being on that belt for quite a while.
Yeah, it's I think I just got to the point where it was just, I mean, obviously there's always that black belt in the back of your mind, like, oh, I get the black belt, but I think I got to a point where I was just like, let's just get better at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It was, and it's funny that my friend that I train with was so competitive. Like, it's just stupid. Like, we just, every time we roll, oh, we'll just go easy. Yeah, no worries. Boom, we're fucking 100 miles an hour trying to kill each other. But like, even now, like, we just, like, we train together 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And then other days we're going there and we're just doing, like, we're just working on techniques, and we're like pressure testing stuff, and like, oh, does this work? Does this work? Oh, how does this work? So, we're like just doing this to each other. It's really cool.
Love it.
Awesome.
Guard pull or takedown?
I do like half guard. So, and I do like a collar drag to half guard. That's normally my jam. Takedown. I got one takedown. That's it. Or I just bear hug you and pick you up and throw you over.
That's almost like collar drag to half guard. I'll call that a guard pull, I reckon.
Is that a guard pull? Yeah, I think technically it's like a guard pull.
Well, it ends you up in the guard, so
yeah. All right. I've got two more, mate. I've got two more. These define you as a person. These define you, Tony, as a man. Number one, can you drive a manual car?
Yes.
And the last one, which definitely defines you as a man, do you wear Crocs?
No.
There you go. You're a man.
I wear slides. Does that count? I wear slides. I don't wear Crocs.
That's so good. That's so good.
My wife will kill me if I put Crocs on. Last one, actually. What was your favourite bike? What's your favourite bike?
I had a lot of sponsors. I used to ride for S&M bikes. I don't know if you've heard of S&M. They're more of a freestyle-y brand. And I was racing in the States, and I was racing in Salt Lake, actually, and the owner of the brand that I rode for was at the race. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I went up and introduced myself, and he's like, oh man, you guys are so cool. He's like, oh, you come back to LA, come past the warehouse, we'll hook you up. I'm like, fuck it. And I wasn't going back that way, I was going back the other way. So but yeah, I used to love S&M. Was great. I won a bunch of nationals on an S&M. So yeah, bit of a soft spot.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much once again, Tony, for giving up your time. It's been great to get to know you a bit more, and for our audience as well to discover another OG of the jiu-jitsu scene. So if anybody is down in the Geelong area, go down to Red Cat and get choked by Tony.
Yes,
pretty much by the sound of it.
Yes. Where are you guys at?
We're at Dominance.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
nice. with Lincoln in Thomastown. So
right.
we might see you at the gathering potentially later in the year or
I have
somewhere
to
down the track.
Year, so I need some people to call me out and tell me stuff.
Yes. Yeah, well, here we're doing it out for the internet to hear. So looks like it's happening.
Sign up and they will come.
Get serious.
Yeah.
Get serious.
Yeah. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Roll or Die. Keep training, stay humble, and remember, it's not about the belt, it's about the journey. A big shout out to our sponsor, Athletic Body Care, for keeping us fresh on and off the mats. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to like, rate, and share, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and any other platform that you listen to us on. Subscribe on all of them if you want. You're allowed to. There's no problems with that. Check out our merchandise. We've still got a few T-shirts, so get on those. And also just tell your friends about the podcast. Kim's sporting the T-shirts, mate. I love it. They are bloody good quality. Thanks, Lucy. You did amazing. Remember, tell your friends about the podcast, guys. That's the best way for us to grow the audience and to get into people's ears, which is exactly what we want to do. Tony, thank you, mate, for coming on. Seems like you've had an amazing life in the sport world, mate. May long it continue. All the best for the rest of the year coming up, and hopefully we'll see you at the gathering in September. If not, someone will call you out, mate. So
yeah,
not me.
I'll be there. Even if I'm not competing, I'll still be there. So
Legend.
Awesome.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Tony. We will see you all on another episode of Roll or Die podcast. Peace.
Thanks, guys.